Hi everyone, my name is Greg from the Laser Channel where we learn, create, and share. And in this video, I'm going to be breathing some new life in this old K40 CO2 laser machine by installing an updated controller card from VMS Tech. This is the LX4s. In this video, I'm going to cover preparing the laser machine for the installation of the card and then also configuring LightBurn software to get the most out of this card and the laser machine. That's right, this new updated card using today's latest technology will now make this old K40 machine LightBurn compatible. Not only is the card going to be a drop-in fit for most K40 machines, it's also an excellent choice for upgrading a variety of other laser machines on the market. It's also a great choice for custom-build laser machines. See, this card is very configurable and very adaptable to a lot of different applications. Let's get a close-up look at this and I'll go over just a couple of the highlights on the LX4s. What makes the LX4s stand out is the performance. High-speed operation without slowdown. The LX series boards have large buffers, high UART baud rate, and custom code to handle high DPI without slowdown. It works seamlessly with LightBurn or laser gerbil software on Windows, Linux, or Mac. Designed for 20 to 180 watt CO2 lasers with direct bolt-in compatibility for K40 lasers and a perfect choice for custom laser machines. Optimized VMS enhanced firmware for reliable, trouble-free operation. The integrated TMC 22.8 drivers offer customizable X, Y, Z, and A channel driver current for optimal speed, torque, and motor life. Precision laser PWM control for outstanding grayscale and fine detail when engraving and cutting. My favorite, the axis locking to hold position and prevent design shifts, perfect for adding extra passes that line up perfectly with the previous pass. Those are just a few of the many features on this controller card. If you'd like to check out the rest of the features, I'll have a link down in the video description for you. First up, before I even start installing the card, off camera, I went and I made a quick sample project just to make sure that everything on the machine works correctly. That looks good. I also completely removed the power cable off of the machine. That way I don't have any electrical accidents when I start working inside of the cabinet area, which is exactly where I'm going next. Not all K40 machines look the same. Yours might be a little bit different. On mine, I removed a big side panel, and that gives me full access to this bracket that the controller board is mounted to. On my controller board, each of the connectors or ports are labeled as to what they do, and that makes it real easy for me to transfer onto a piece of tape things like the homing switches, the power cable, the X motor cable, and lastly, the Y motor cable. Labeling all these connectors is going to make it super easy when I transfer them over to the new controller card. Once I remove all the connectors off of the old controller card, I'll be able to remove the controller card off of the bracket. Before I do that, I want to make a mental note of where the USB port is on the card and this mounting bracket, and I want it to kind of match up when I mount the new card to this bracket. That way, the USB port still lines up with the port on the side of the machine. The new controller board is installed on the mounting bracket. Before I move on, there's two quick things that I wanted to mention. My machine has all of these discrete connectors. If your machine has a ribbon cable, don't worry, this board has us covered too with this connection for ribbon cables. The second thing is, this board also has a set of 24 volt outputs, and I have a 24 volt solenoid that I got from VMS Tech. This I can use with the air on and off within LightBurn software. From here, it's going to be pretty straightforward. I'll reference the installation manual and I'll take a look at all the labels on my connectors and match them up to the controller board. Most of the connectors only fit in one spot. I'll take the main power cable, connect that up. Next, I have the homing switches. These two only really fit in one spot. And then lastly, where I think most people get confused when they don't label their wires are the X and the Y motors. And for that, I'll look on the controller board for the X connector. And lastly, the Y-axis connector. That's it. The board's all wired up. It really is just that easy. The only thing I need to do is kind of button everything up here by reinstalling the mounting bracket up inside of the machine. And this solenoid, by the way, I can route the air internally to the machine, or I can leave this outside of the machine. The choice is up to me. The controller board is installed and it looks great. Check out this side view. The USB port matches up perfectly to the port on the side of the cabinet. Quick note, just below the USB port is the external power supply that powers up the VMS Tech controller board. Installing the controller board in the K40 machine was an absolute breeze. One of the things that I didn't show you during that installation is I put some spacers between the controller board and that mounting bracket. Having those spacers in between is going to prevent the pins on the backside of the controller board from shorting out against that metal mounting bracket. I know a lot of you that work with laser machines would already know to do that, but for people like me who get excited bolting things together, that's an easy thing to skip over that may cause problems later on. I have power on the K40 machine and I have power connected up to the controller card, USB cables connected up to the computer. Let's check out the installation guide before jumping into LightBurn and finishing the setup for this new controller card. Here's the detailed manual for the LX4s controller. The manual also takes us through a number of the controller features. A lot of them I've already covered earlier in this video. As I mentioned earlier, this installation manual is very detailed, gives us a full diagram of the controller board, and it goes through by number each of the ports and exactly what every pin does. Most of this doesn't pertain for us with the K40 installation because everything is just a direct connector swap. Everything just plugs in easily. It takes us through the installation of the board itself. And now I'm to the part of the installation manual where it covers the LightBurn setup. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. We're going to see just how detailed these instructions are. The instructions are lengthy, and when I initially looked at it, I honestly thought I was going to be a little bit overwhelmed, but when I actually read through them, it's just going through very detailed, step-by-step, exactly what I need to do. And the bulk of the instructions really do pertain to a K40 machine, making this installation incredibly easy. And with that, I'm going to start with the LightBurn device setup by following the easy instructions to initially get the LightBurn software connected up to the laser machine. I'll click on Devices and Create Manually. I'll click on this option, Serial USB. I'm going to rename this K40 LX4s. The size of the K40 is 300 by 200 millimeters. I'll reference the orientation of the laser and making sure that auto home on laser startup is turned off. Here's a summary of everything that I've selected, including the name that I'm giving this machine. I'll click Finish and OK. Next, we'll go into Device Settings, and we're going to make sure that the baud rate is set to 921/600. Let me double check that in the manual. That's correct. And it does need to be buffered, and I'll click OK. With those couple of easy steps, LightBurn is now connected up to the K40 machine. From here, it's just a matter of following the rest of the installation guide of making sure that the motor direction is correct and the distance moves are correct. That's all in the installation guide. I'll check back in with you periodically to show you the progress that I've made. It's been a few minutes later and I've got motion on the machine. I'm going to show you that in just a second, but first I've got a really cool tip. Throughout the instruction manual, Periodically, I am going to have to navigate over to the console tab within LightBurn. I'm going to have to type some commands in. And for me, I'm really not good at writing lines of code. So instead, I just go over to the installation manual and the area that I need to type something in, like in this spot here for setting up the homing and the homing direction, I'll need to type in $23 equals 1 for my K40. Instead, I'll highlight it and hit Control-C to copy it, navigate back over to LightBurn, making sure I'm on Console tab. I'll click in the Commands area and Control-V to paste it in. And just like that, I'm copying and pasting any of the lines of code that I need without actually having to type anything. Like I said, I do have some motion on the machine. Let's check that out. On the Move tab, I can jog the laser machine away from us, towards us, to the left, and to the right, and I can even home the machine. Seeing motion on the machine already is pretty cool. And if you're wondering how I'm able to run my machine with the lid open, well, that's because on my Cloudray K40 machine, there's no safety switch on this lid. From here, I'll continue following the steps in the installation guide. A few minutes later, and I have the distance calibration all complete. Following the instruction manual, I drew this box, did the line engraving, and everything is looking perfect. Now, because I am firing the laser before the laser is calibrated, one tip that I have is to only fire the laser at maybe 2 or 3%. That'll be plenty to do this line engraving test for the distance calibration. And speaking of calibrating the laser output, that's the next thing to do. The instruction manual has a recommendation on the maximum milliamp output based off of the size of the laser tube. And for this 40-watt laser tube, VMS Tech recommends a maximum of 12 milliamps. So that's what I'll be scaling the output in LightBurn software so that 100% in the software is a safe 12 milliamps going out to the laser machine. I'll be back once that's all complete. I have the laser output calibrated. It looks perfect. I'm going to show you a couple key points within that, starting out with, of course, the machine does have to have a current meter on it. We saw the one that I have on my machine that I purchased from VMS Tech has all the instructions on getting it set up within the machine. Inside LightBurn software, I drew a line about the width of the work area, and it's running at a fairly low speed of 50 millimeters per second. This is going to give me time to read the milliamp meter. I'm running at 50% power, which at 100%, I want the maximum output to be 12 milliamps, so at 50%, I'm going to be looking for about 6 milliamps. I'll show you the settings that we use within LightBurn software to scale that output. I'll navigate over to Edit, Machine Settings, and we're going to be looking at two parameters, S35, or actually $35 and $36. $35, the original value was 0, and on this machine, it stayed at 0. The other parameter is going to be S36. This is going to set the maximum output so it doesn't exceed that 12 milliamps. Originally, this was a setting of 100, and I had to turn it all the way down to 8 in order to not go over that 12 milliamps. That's why it's so important on laser machines to make sure that we calibrate the output from LightBurn going out to the laser machine. The last thing I'm going to do is turn on Axis Lock. I love this feature because when the machine is done running a project and it goes back to the start position, it's going to lock the laser head in position so it can't rock back. This is really important if I need to add another pass, whether it's engraving or cutting. In that locked position, the laser is going to start out in the same position, so it's not going to be off a little bit. By default, the laser machine is allowed to freewheel, or another way to put it is I can grab the laser head and move it around anywhere I want to. And the problem with that is when the machine is done running a project and it goes back to the start position, sometimes it rocks just a little bit. If I have to add that second pass, it's going to start from this position and not where it thought it should be. and the engraving or that cut line, it's going to be off just a little bit. Near the back of the installation guide, I have highlighted the parameter that is going to allow us to lock the axes. I'll navigate back over to LightBurn software. On console, I'm going to type in that command line, $40 equals 1. I'll hit enter, and now I've got locked axes on the machine. And to test everything out, I'll do a little sample project. The sample project is going to have both engraving and cutting. Let's check it out. Quite fitting, I'm going to be engraving VMStech.net, which is the website for the controller card. And by the way, if you have any questions about the installation of your card, VMS Tech does have a Facebook page, and you can always contact VMS Tech directly. Let's check out my settings for the engraving layer. I'm going to be running at a speed of 250 millimeters per second, a maximum power of 35%, with the lines per inch at 254. And for those of us fully on metric, that's a line interval of 0.1. I do have overscanning on set at 2.5%. On the cut layer, I'm going to be running a speed of 8 millimeters per second with a maximum power of 85%. Right now, I'm going to be doing just one pass, and if I have to add another one, I know that the second pass will line up perfectly because the last thing I set up on the machine was that axis lock to make sure that the laser head is always starting from the same position. Installing the VMS Tech controller card breathes some new life in this old K40 laser machine, whether I'm running LightBurn software or Laser Gerbil. I'm Greg from the Laser channel, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. And until I see you again in the next video, learn, create, and share.